It is my privilege today to begin with the Master Key System by Charles Haanel. This is a book that I've been wanting to read for some time now, again, because I've read this book probably 50 times, and every time I read it, I get something, very powerful out of it again. Every time I read it, my awareness expands, and I've been wanting to read it again. So I'm going to do that on the channel, starting with part 1. But I'm also going to get into my book very, very soon. But I want everyone to get their own copy first. That way they can follow along as I read into it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this part 1 now. And I'm going to break it down as I go, just like with Neville Goddard's stuff, because I've read this so many times that I can actually extract a lot of this stuff and expound on it. But first, I'm going to give you a little background of this. Okay, this book here is by Charles Haanel. And by 1933, the Master Key System had sold over 200,000 copies and then seemingly disappeared. The Master Key System is one of the finest studies in self-improvement and higher consciousness ever written, covering everything from how to get wealthy to how to get healthy. And this book was actually banned by the church in 1933 and has been hidden away for 70 years. And rumor has it that when Charles Haanel was actually attending Harvard University, Bill Gates discovered and read the Master Key System by Charles F. Haanel, and it was the book that inspired Bill Gates to drop out of university and pursue his dream of a computer on every desktop. You probably know the results of that too. Bill Gates is actually currently one of the richest men, if not the richest man on the planet right now. And it is Silicon Valley's secret that almost every entrepreneur who made a fortune in recent years did so by studying the words of Mr. Haanel, penned over 80 years ago. Almost every millionaire and billionaire in the Valley read the Master Key System by Charles F. Haanel. Since this book was no longer in print until recently, copies of the Master Key System became a hot commodity in Silicon Valley. The Master Key System is a system that teaches the ultimate principles, causes, and effects and laws that underlie all attainment and success. When you want to attain something, the Master Key System will show you how to get it. The results you will attain from using this system are so startling as to appear incredible. For this reason, more and more people are becoming students of the Master Key System than ever before. In 24 parts, the Master Key System sets out the fundamental principles of life and creative living. As Haanel came to understand and apply them, basic to his teaching in the correct development and use of mental power, the key to truly creative power and action, harmony, health, love, and happiness, and abundant possibilities. Each part is meant to be studied like a correspondence course lesson. But this is also a book that can be opened at random for whatever gem of advice your eyes happen to fall upon. This age-old wisdom was written by someone who could perceive and tap into universal mind, but who seems to have no particular allegiance to any specific system of knowledge. Haanel's numbered common sense messages still have a freshness 89 years after they were first assembled. Okay, so it is my privilege to enclose herewith part 1 of the Master Key System. Would you bring into your life more power? Get the power consciousness. More health? Get health consciousness. More happiness? Get the happiness consciousness. Live the spirit of these things until they become yours by right. It will then become impossible to keep them from you. The things of the world are fluid to a power within man by which he rules them. You need not acquire this power. You already have it, but you want to understand it. You want to use it. You want to control it. You want to impregnate yourself with it so that you can go forward and carry the world before you. Day by day, as you go on and on, as you gain momentum, as your inspiration deepens, as your plans crystallize, as you gain understanding, you will come to realize that this world is no dead pile of stones and timber, but that it is a living thing. It is made up of the beating hearts of humanity. It is a thing of life and beauty. It is evident that it requires understanding to work with material of this description, but those who come into this understanding are inspired by a new light, a new force. They gain confidence and greater power each day. They realize their hopes and their dreams come true. Life has a deeper, fuller, clearer meaning than before. And now, part 1. And remember, this is written like a correspondence course, so there's going to be enumerated points, and at the end of each lesson, we're going to have questions with answers to cover to make sure that we fully comprehend and understand the master key system. All right, so enumerated point 1. That much gathers more is true on every plane of existence, and that loss leads to greater loss is also equally true. So this can be looked at it as mental states. Like if you are in a mental state or a feeling state of loss or lack, that feeling of loss is going to create more loss. And that's also true in the reverse. If you are in a state of abundance, you are going to be attracting more abundance by being in that state. And that's what he's explaining there. Enumerated point number 2. Mind is creative, and conditions, environments, and all experiences in life are the result of our habitual or predominant mental attitude. So this can be your moods or your inner dialogue or your inner talking. So this is what is creating your outer world. The 3D world you're living in is all being created by your inner talking, your inner dialogue, and that's what he means right here. It's a result of your habitual inner dialogues and your inner talkings and your moods. All right, so enumerated point number 3. The attitude of mind necessarily depends upon what we think. Therefore, the secret of all power, all achievement, and all possession depends upon our method of thinking. So as you increase your awareness, as your attitude changes and as your inner dialogue changes, you will be focused on different thinking. You won't be thinking the same things. Your perceptions of the world you're living in are going to change, and then thus create a different reality for you, and you'll shift to a different parallel reality based on that perception of your attitude of mind, which necessarily depends upon what you are thinking and your feeling and your methods of thinking. So enumerated point number 4. This is true because we must be before we can do. You cannot do something unless you are it. You are that thing. So we can do only in the extent to which we are, and what we are depends on what we think. So everything begins with a thought. Everything begins with a thought, and that's what creates the new version of you. And then once you become the new version of you, then you have the confidence to do these things. Then you believe in yourself. Then your conviction is with certainty on the things that you are going to attain. So it all starts with thinking. It all starts with your inner dialogue. It all starts with the inner talking, like Neville Goddard talks about imagining something to be true that isn't true yet in your reality, but you're being persistent in this new reality. And then what that does is it changes you to be the person that you need to be, and then you can do the things that you need to do in order to attain those things. And then other doors will also open that'll assist you on being able to do those things as well. So enumerated point number 5. We cannot express powers that we do not possess. The only way by which we may secure possession of power is to become conscious of power. And we can never become conscious of power until we learn that all power is from within. Just like this reality that you're living in right now is a hologram. It's not real. All power is contained within you. Everything is being projected from inside of you based on your inner dialogue, your thoughts, your feeling states, and then that's creating your perception and your certainty and your confidence levels of what world is being projected into the space of reality. Enumerated point number 6. There is a world within, a world of thought and feeling and power, of light and life and beauty, and although invisible, its forces are mighty. Everything is within. That's what he's explaining here, and we've actually shown all this now with quantum physics has demonstrated quite a bit about this, about the world is actually contained within you, and the world that you're actually living in that's visible to you, like your visible world is the world that isn't real. The only world that actually is real is the invisible world. That's what he's talking about. There is no world. There is a world within, a world of thought and feeling and power, of light and life and beauty. And although invisible, its forces are the actual real forces, and they're mighty. All right, so enumerated point number 7. The world within is governed by mind. When we discover this world, we shall find the solution for every problem, the cause for every effect. And since the world within is subject to our control, all laws of power and possession are also within our control. So what this tells you, or tells us, or tells anyone who reads this, is that you can change anything because you have the power to change you within. The world without is just a projection from what your perceptions are from within yourself, your feeling states, your moods, your inner dialogues, your feeling states, your perception of your world, what you believe to be and consent to be true in your world. That's what's being projected out. And you think that you can't control all this, but you can, because everything is contained within you. That's where everything originates from, is within you. So you have the power, is what he's saying, to change all of this. The world within is governed by you, by your mind, what you're thinking, your thoughts, your inner dialogues, your feeling states, and those images that all of those things are creating and then projecting out into your 3D reality. So the world within is governed by mind. Everything is within. So the world without, enumerated point number 8, the world without is a reflection of the world within. What appears without is what has been found within. In the world within may be found infinite wisdom, infinite power, infinite supply of that is necessary, waiting for unfoldment, development, and expression. If we recognize these potentialities in the world within, they will take form in the world without. And like what they were saying about Silicon Valley, all the millionaires and billionaires in the world, including Bill Gates, read this book, and then he found the secrets that everything is within you, and he started applying these techniques, changing his thoughts, his inner dialogue, started shifting his reality by realizing that you can actually manipulate your 3D world by manipulating your own mind, changing the way that you think, changing your thoughts, your inner dialogue, the images that are popping up in your mind, your feeling states, and just knowing that your world on the outside is not the real world. The visible world isn't real. The invisible world is the only real world that exists. So enumerated point number 9. Harmony in the world within will be reflected in the world without by harmonious conditions, agreeable surroundings, the best of everything. It is the foundation of health and a necessary essential to all greatness, all power, all attainment, all achievement, and all successes. Enumerated point number 10. Harmony in the world within means the ability to control our thoughts. This is a big one. Harmony in the world within means the ability to control our thoughts and to determine for ourselves how any experience is to affect us. Just like disregarding circumstances in your 3D world, not reacting to those in the 3D world, disregarding those things and knowing that the world that you're seeing that is actually showing you these things that you don't want to see isn't the real world. And if you react to those things, then you're actually giving your attention to those, and you're actually going to create more of those things to keep happening. So harmony in the world within means the ability to control your thoughts and to determine for ourselves how any experience is to affect us. So don't be affected by anything negative in your 3D world. Look within yourself and make the changes, the appropriate changes within yourself, and realize when something like this happens that it came from within you. So something within you created this to happen. So you have to go within to change all of that. So when something like this happens, you have to look at it this way. Look at it this way as it was a mistake somewhere in your own consciousness that has now created that. So you have to go within, just like what Neville Goddard says. If you don't change the world by trying to change everyone else, go within yourself, make the appropriate change with yourself, and your world will confirm that change. And that's exactly what he's saying here. Enumerated point number 11. Harmony in the world within results in optimism and affluence. Affluence within results in affluence without. Enumerated point number 12. The world without, your 3D world, reflects the circumstances and the conditions of your consciousness within yourself. So what are you imagining? Whatever you're imagining, like from your inner dialogue on the thoughts that you're having, are creating images in your mind and feeling states, energies, frequencies, then that's what's creating your 3D worlds. What he's saying, the world without reflects the circumstances and the conditions of your consciousness within. Enumerated 13. If we find wisdom in the world within, We shall have the understanding to discern the marvelous possibilities that are latent in this world within. And we shall be given the power to make these possibilities manifest in the world without. So once you find this wisdom within this book and you start actually applying this and understanding it and knowing how it works, then you can start actually manifesting everything that you want to be created into your world, and you'll understand the limitless possibilities that you have to create anything you want with this power. So enumerated 14, as we become conscious of the wisdom in the world within, we mentally take possession of this wisdom. And by taking mental possession, we come into actual possession of the power and wisdom necessary to bring into manifestation the essentials necessary for our most complete and harmonious development. As we become conscious of this, as we cover this, and you really get this sunk deep down into your being about how this works, and you really start applying it, you're going to start seeing some serious changes in your 3D world, and this can happen almost immediately. By understanding, just knowing this is going to change your life forever. So enumerated point number 15, the world within is the practical world in which the men and women of power generate courage, hope, enthusiasm, confidence, trust, and faith, and by which they are given the fine intelligence to see the vision and the practical skill to make the vision real. So being a visionary, like Neville Goddard, imagining, okay? Everything is within you. What you imagine will be created into your 3D world, because the real world is within you. And the visible world, the 3D world, is not a real world, but it's being projected from inside of you, and then you're perceiving it with all of your senses this way. So the invisible world is the real world. So once you use this intelligence, this fine intelligence, to see the vision, see your vision, see your end goal, always program yourself, build that momentum of seeing the end always, and then that will be projected into your 3D world. Enumerated point number 16. Life is an unfoldment, not accretion. What comes to us in the world without is what we already possess in the world within. Enumerated point number 17. All possession is based on consciousness. All gain is the result of an accumulative consciousness. All loss is the result of a scattering consciousness. Enumerated point 18. Mental efficiency is contingent upon harmony. Discord means confusion. Therefore, he who would acquire power must be in harmony with this law, this natural law. Enumerated point 19. We are related to the world without by the objective mind. The brain is the organ of this mind, and the cerebrospinal system of nerves puts us in consciousness communication with every part of the body. This system of nerves responds to every sensation of light, heat, odor, sound, and taste. 20. When this mind thinks correctly, when it understands the truth, when the thoughts sent through the cerebrospinal nervous system to the body are constructive, these sensations are pleasant and harmonious. 21. The result is that we build strength, vitality, and all constructive forces into our body. But it is through this same objective mind that all distress, sickness, lack, and limitation, and every form of discord and inharmony is admitted to our lives. It is therefore through the objective mind, by wrong thinking, that we are related to all destructive forces. 22. We are related to the world within by the subconscious mind. The solar plexus is the organ of this mind. The sympathetic system of nerves presides over all subjective sensations such as joy, fear, love, emotion, respiration, imagination, and all other subconscious phenomena. It is through the subconscious that we are connected with the universal mind and brought into relation with the infinite constructive forces of the universe. 23. It is the coordination of these two centers of our being and the understanding of their functions, which is the great secret of life. With this knowledge, we can bring the objective and subjective minds into conscious cooperation and thus coordinate the finite and the infinite. Our future is entirely within our own control. Our future, your future, is entirely within your control. It is not at the mercy of any capricious or uncertain external power. 24. All agree that there is but one principle or consciousness pervading the entire universe, occupying all space, and being essentially the same in kind at every point of its presence. It is all-powerful, all wisdom, and always present. All thoughts and things are within itself. It is all in all. 25. There is but one consciousness in the universe able to think. And when it thinks, its thoughts become objective things to it. As this consciousness is omnipresent, it must be present within every individual. Each individual must be a manifestation of that omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent consciousness. 26. As there is only one consciousness in the universe that is able to think, it necessarily follows that your consciousness is identical with the universal consciousness, or, in other words, all mind is one. All mind is one mind. There is no dodging this conclusion. 27. The consciousness that focuses in your brain cells is the same consciousness which focuses in the brain cells of every other individual. Each individual is but the individualization of the universal, the cosmic mind. 28. The universal mind is static or potential energy. It simply is. It can manifest only through the individual, and the individual can manifest only through the universal. They are one and undivided. Numerated point 29. The ability of the individual to think is his ability to act on the universal and bring it into manifestation. Human consciousness consists only in the ability of man to think. Mind in itself is believed to be a subtle form of static energy from which arises the activities called thought, which is the dynamic phase of mind. Mind is static energy, thought is dynamic energy, the two phases of the same thing. Thought is therefore the vibratory force formed by converting static mind into dynamic mind. 30. As the sum of all attributes are contained in the universal mind, which is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, these attributes must be present at all times in their potential form in every individual. Therefore, when the individual thinks, the thought is compelled by its nature to embody itself in an object or condition which will correspond with its origin. 31. Every thought, therefore, is a cause, and every condition an effect. For this reason, it is absolutely essential that you control your thoughts so as to bring forth only desirable conditions. 32. All power is from within and is absolutely under your control. It comes through exact knowledge and by the voluntary exercises of exact principles. 33. It should be plain that when you acquire a thorough understanding of this law and are able to control your thought processes, you can apply it to any condition. In other words, you will have come into conscious cooperation with omnipotent law, which is the fundamental basis of all things. 34. The universal mind is the life principle of every atom which is in existence. Every atom is continually striving to manifest more life. All are intelligent and all are seeking to carry out the purpose for which they were created. 35. A majority of mankind lives in the world without. Few have found the world within, and yet it is the world within that makes the world without. It is therefore creative, and everything which you find in your world without has been created by you in the world within. 36. This system will bring you into a realization of power, which will be yours when you understand this relation between the world without and the world within. The world within is the cause. The world without is the effect. To change the effect, you must change the cause. In order to change the world without, you must change the world within. 37. You will at once see that this is a radically new and different idea. Most men try to change effects by working with effects. They fail to see that this is simply changing one form of distress for another. To remove discord, we must remove the cause, and this cause can be found only in the world within. 38. All growth is from within. This is evident in all nature. Every plant, every animal, every human is a living testimony to this great law. And the error of the ages is in looking for strength or power from without. All power, all strength is contained within. 39. The world within is the universal fountain of supply, and the world without is the outlet to the stream. Our ability to receive depends upon our recognition of this universal fountain, this infinite energy of which each individual is an outlet, and so is one with every other individual. 40. Recognition is a mental process. Mental action is therefore the interaction of the individual upon the universal mind. And as the universal mind is the intelligence which pervades all space and animates all living things, this mental action and reaction is the law of causation. But the principle of causation does not obtain in the individual, but in the universal mind. It is not an objective faculty, but a subjective process. And the results are seen in an infinite variety of conditions and experiences. 41. In order to express life, there must be mind. Nothing can exist without mind. Everything which exists is some manifestation of this one basic substance from which and by which all things have been created and are continually being recreated. 42. We live in a fathomless sea of plastic mind substance. This substance is ever alive and active. It is sensitive to the highest degree. It takes form according to the mental demand. Thought forms the mold or matrix from which the substance expresses. 43. Remember that it is in the application alone that the value consists, and that a practical understanding of this law will substitute abundance for poverty, wisdom for ignorance, harmony for discord, and freedom for tyranny. And certainly there can be no greater blessing than these from a material and social standpoint. All right, guys, so this is enumerated point 44, but this is the exercise. There will be an exercise for each lesson. Now make the application. Select a room where you can be alone and undisturbed. Sit erect comfortably, but do not lounge. Let your thoughts roam where they will, but be perfectly still for 15 minutes to a half an hour. Continue this for 3 or 4 days or for a week until you secure full control of your physical being. Many will find this extremely difficult. Others will conquer with ease. But it is absolutely essential to secure complete control of the body before you are ready to progress. Next week, you will receive instructions for the next step. In the meantime, you must have mastered this one. All right, so these are going to be the part 1 study questions with answers as well as the exercise. Number 1, what is the world without in its relation to the world within? The world without is a reflection of the world within. So the world within is the only real world being projected outwardly. The world without is a reflection of the world within. 2, upon what does all possession depend? All possession is based on consciousness. Everything you own, all of your possessions are based on your level of consciousness of receiving them. Number 3, how is the individual related to the objective world? The individual is related to the objective world by the objective mind. The brain is the organ of this mind. 4, how is he related to the universal mind? He is related to the universal mind by the subconscious mind. The solar plexus is the organ of this mind. 5, what is the universal mind? The universal mind is the life principle of every atom which is in existence. 6, how can the individual act on the universal? The ability of the individual to think is his ability to act upon the universal and bring it into manifestation. 7, what is the result of this action and interaction? The result of this action and interaction is cause and effect. Every thought is a cause and every condition an effect. How are harmonious and desirable conditions secured? How do you get your manifestation secured? Harmonious and desirable conditions are obtained by right thinking, proper imaging. And we're going to go over that in further chapters. 9, what is the cause of all discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation? Discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation are the result of wrong thinking. 10, what is the source of all powers? The source of all power is the world within, the universal fountain of supply, the infinite energy of which each individual is an outlet. Everyone has this power. You have all the power of source. The source of all power is in the world within. In further chapters, we're going to cover this even further, but you have to do this exercise and cover this. We're going to go over the exercise one more time and end the video. Now make the application. Select a room where you can be alone and undisturbed. Sit with your back straight, erect, comfortably, but do not lounge. Let your thoughts roam where they will, but be perfectly still for from 15 minutes to a half an hour. So all you have to do is let your thoughts roam during this 15 minutes to a half an hour, but sit there. Do not move. Do not let your body or your mind tell you that you need to go somewhere else. You must do this. So secure this 3 to 4 days for a full week until you secure full control of your physical being. All right, that's the end of this video. This is the end of part 1, but we're getting back into part 2. We're going to be breaking this down even further. So, but do these exercises and cover this and study it, because remember, all the millionaires and billionaires in Silicon Valley, including Bill Gates, actually dropped out of his university. And Harvard University dropped out and then created Microsoft after he found this book and studied it. So you can create anything you want by understanding these principles. And if this can help you understand that to where you can start using these applications, then you'll surely get to that next level and manifest anything that you want to come into your life by understanding these principles. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. Don't forget to give me one thing you are grateful for. Any other questions that you have, put those in the column box below, or any future content you would like me to cover, put that there as well. And I will see you guys in the next one.